Hey guys, today we'll be talking about the 3rd to 8th week of embryological development. This phase is known as the embryonic phase and also known as organogenesis phase. In this phase, the basic structure of the body in the embryo is taking place, both external and internal, and the three germ layer, as you know, that are the ectoderm, the mesoderm, and lastly the endoderm, differentiate into different organ systems. Now this phase is very vulnerable to environmental insults, genetic changes, and teratogens. So let's see different phases. So the first event is known as the neurulation. The neurulation is a process that is the beginning of the formation of the central nervous system, that is the brain and the spinal cord. It starts with the formation of neural plate at around the day 18th, and it forms over the ectoderm, and as it thickens there is a groove formation in the middle. So if this is the neural plate and this is the groove, if I do like this and this becomes a groove, and these are the neural plate. What happens as the development progresses, this plate will come over each other and it will start fusing in the cranial end, towards the cranial end, and it will fuse towards the cranial end. It will complete the fusion and it will form a tube. Likewise, it will also start to fuse towards the caudal end and complete there will be formation of two pores, the anterior neuropore and the posterior neuropore. The anterior neuropore is closed at around day 25th, and the posterior neuropore is closed at around day 27th. So if these pores doesn't close, what will happen? Yes, if these pores doesn't close, then there will be neural tube defect. So the anterior neuropore, if it doesn't closes, there will be no formation of brain, and there is a condition known as anencephaly. And if the posterior tube doesn't close, there will be formation of spina bifida. We'll be talking about them in the future classes. During neurulation, a distinct group of cells known as the neural crest cells are formed at the tip of the neural fold. Now these cells undergo epithelial to mesenchymal transformation and can migrate to different part of the embryo and form distinct type of cells. Now these cells are also known as the foot germ layer because of their characteristic change of cells into different form, like the sensory ganglia of cranial and spinal nerves, the autonomic ganglia, Schwann cells, the bones and the cartilage of the face, and part of the cardiovascular system. The migration and differentiation is taken place by the various types of molecular signals. Any disruption in the signals can lead to congenital disorders like the Hirschsprung disease, DiGeorge syndrome, and congenital heart defects. Simultaneously with neurulation, the mesodermal layer, that is the middle layer of between the three germ layer, differentiates itself into paraxial mesoderm, intermediate mesoderm, and lateral plate mesoderm. Now the paraaxial mesoderm forms the somites, which are tissues or bulbs of tissues. They divide into three parts: the skeleton, that forms the vertebra and ribs, the dermatome, that forms the dermis of the dorsal skin, and the myotome, which forms the skeletal muscles. Now the Intermediate mesoderm is basically forms the urogenital system, that is the kidneys, gonads and associated ducts. And the lateral plate mesoderm divides into two parts. First one is the somatic or parietal mesoderm that contributes into the formation of the body wall and the limbs, and visceral or splanchnic mesoderm that forms the heart, the blood vessels and the connective tissues of the gut. While the ectoderm and mesoderm are undergoing different changes and developing into various organ systems, the endoderm also develops by forming a tube by lateral folding. This tube forms three parts: the foregut, midgut and hindgut. The foregut transfers into the trachea, the lungs, the stomach, part of the duodenum and the respiratory system, which includes the trachea and the lungs. The midgut remains connected with the yolk sac and further forms the small intestine and part of the large intestine. The hindgut forms the distal colon, rectum and portion of the urogenital system. The endoderm also gives rise to epithelial lining of respiratory tract, the liver, pancreas and the thyroid and urinary bladder. Now the proper folding and the differentiation of these layers are essential for development of the respiratory system and the GIT. Now coming to the clinical correlations, the embryonic phase is very important phase for the development of various organ systems. It is very vulnerable to environmental insults, different type of teratogens and genetic abnormalities, and also nutritional deficiencies. Firstly, the neural tube defects are produced by the improper closure of the neural tube. Next is the neural crest defects. These defects include craniofacial abnormalities, cardiovascular defects known as the congenital heart diseases, other diseases like the Hirschsprung disease. Abnormal mesodermal differentiation can lead to skeletal abnormalities, renal agenesis and limb defects. Abnormal endodermal differentiation can lead to esophageal atresia, tracheoesophageal fistula and anorectal malformations. Understanding the timing of the different diseases or conditions that might take place can be very useful for understanding and taking decisions during the prenatal diagnosis and possible future interventions. So here was the quick review of the 3rd to 8 week of development. I have covered a little bit about all the topics included in this session. This phase is very important for understanding the prenatal diagnosis factors, and this will guide you on learning to different parts of the body. So this was it. This is the 3rd to 8 week, and I have just mentioned very important points about this week. I have not gone through detailed explanations. If you need any detailed explanation of any of the topic mentioned in this video, you can comment down, or if you need any other topic related to this week, you can surely comment down, and do subscribe, comment and share this video. Thank you and see you again.